Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to discuss with you my experience with being burnt out and what I did to get over it. So, in October, late October, early September, I noticed that being out in the garden was not bringing me the same joy and happiness that it did previously. Really actually stopped caring about being in the garden, and I felt overwhelmed every time I thought about going out. And I soon realized that what I was experiencing was burnout. Now, in my former life as a 911 supervisor, one of the things I looked for in my staff was symptoms of being burnt out or overloaded, overworked, stressed, and needing to take time off or take a vacation. Since we moved up here or moved back to the family homestead in March, I have been steadily on the go. I'm either working to do stuff inside the house or fixing the garden to my specifications. And I haven't really taken any time off for me. So, like I said, in late August, early September, I started to notice that I wasn't happy. I didn't want to go out in the garden, and I needed to get back to feeling like Moses. Burnout is the feeling of helplessness or being overwhelmed, being stressed, either due to being overworked or in a situation where you feel stressed and overworked. And in my case, there was so much stuff that needed to be done here in the garden. That's how I started to feel. As I previously mentioned, I really didn't want to go out in the garden. And the garden didn't bring me joy anymore. I think I can trace it back to when I actually put these beds together. I took some liberties, some shortcuts, filling the beds. And in some of the videos you guys have noticed, from starting, I would say, in June, July, you notice that the soil level in the beds were very, very, very low. And that's because instead of filling them as they should have with a lot of material, I filled them mainly with enough material to get me started. And that in itself led to more problems. I didn't expect the stuff that I used to fill the beds to decay or break down as rapidly as it did. But that's what happened. And that led to the vegetables or plants that I was growing actually not growing as well as they could have, which led to me being disappointed and upset at myself. It also led to more work because I had to basically refill all of my raised beds again. And not only did that take a lot of time and effort, but it took some money as well. And that's something that I should have realized by taking the shortcut. I was actually making more problems for myself. So the lesson was learned actually at a point when you wouldn't really expect it. And that was during the preparation for Hurricane Helene. The hurricane actually took my mind off of the garden and put it back on making sure everything was strapped down and prepared, and the house was safe and my family was safe. And while we evacuated our home, I had lots of time to reflect upon what I could do differently moving forward. And that's exactly what I did. Every morning, my wife and my grandkids ask me how I'm doing. And every morning, I tell them I'm doing okay. Well, one of the things that I realized from a man's point of view and also from a black man's point of view, it is okay to tell your family, those that love you, that you are struggling and that you are not okay. Society has this stigma with mental health, and for men, it's a machismo thing. But saying that you need help or that you're not at your best doesn't make you weak. As a matter of fact, it's a sign of strength. It shows people that it's okay for you to tell them that you need help. If your mental outlook on things is not good, I don't care how much money you have, how much strength and vitality you may have, your brain controls all of that. And if your brain isn't where it should be, then everything else is not going to be where it should be. Basically, if you don't see about yourself, you can't see about anybody else. Some causes of burnout. If you're in a work environment, a false sense of urgency, unfair treatment, relentless change, excessive workload, limited growth, low pay, no balance, micromanagement, pressure to produce or provide, a toxic environment, lack of support, bad communication, no recognition, monotonous work, and fuzzy expectations. Now, here in the home environment, the causes of stress for me were, as I mentioned, the move. Moving itself is very stressful. Packing up all of your possessions and moving from one place to another is stressful. Then another for me was removing my old garden, leveling the land off, putting the garden together, all of the raised beds and stuff, filling the beds, and then trying to start a garden. As many of you may know, if you've followed my channel for a while, my garden was about a month and a half behind when you normally should start for my zone area. I'm in zone 9, and the whole spring/summer garden, I was playing catch up. Now, I did have a very successful garden and harvest on some things, but it wasn't what I wanted it to be, and it could have been better. Now, while it's normal to have some type of fatigue in August or September in the garden, when it comes to having mental fatigue or burnout or fog, that's something completely different. And like I said, for me, that was very much out of character. When I started my garden, it was ironically to help deal with stress at my former job. It was a small garden. Those of you that have been following me for a long period of time, it was basically my backyard sun patio area that I started my garden in. And it helped me deal with the stress of being a 911 supervisor. You can imagine how many different types of calls and stressful situations that I have had to deal with. And some of the time it was stressful, some of the time it was funny. Um, some of the most serious things that I dealt with was the Parkland shooting. I'm pretty sure everybody has heard of that one. Um, wasn't very much fun then. So I started the garden to help me release stress. And the idea that the garden was causing me stress was strange to me. It was foreign to me. But a lot of it was, looking back on it, my doing. Taking shortcuts, not taking time off from the garden to do what I like to do: fish, cook, spend time with my family. And I got away from that. But I have learned and realized that you can't just focus solely on one thing. You have to be a complete person. Thank you for coming along with me while I gave you or discussed my personal account of feeling burned out. And hopefully I won't experience that anytime in the near future or ever again. As far as the garden goes, um, I have to become better at dealing with stress and better at discussing how I'm feeling mentally with family members, those that are important to me, and also getting back into doing things that I like to do to help deal with stress. You have to be very much well-rounded and do things other than the garden. While the garden is good, it's not all that you are. It shouldn't become that way. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. I hope that if there's any of you that are going through something similar or have gone through something similar, that the video helps you out. You can leave me a comment and I will reply. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, take a moment to consider doing so. This video is part of a series that I called Straight Talk. And I did one earlier in the year. This is the second one in that series. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, take a moment to consider doing so. If you do decide to subscribe, don't forget to hit the like button and the notification bell all, so you'll be notified whenever I upload new content. Chances are, if you like my video, your family and friends will also. Until next time, always remember to give the thanks to God, for without Him, we are nothing. Until next time, take care.